Hey there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep into green cards,
Oh, yeah.
specifically the whole self-petitioning thing,
Yeah.
which I think can be a really interesting path for people.
Right.
And you've given us some really interesting material to work with today. I was really interested to learn just how many people this could actually apply to.
Yeah.
It's not just for academics, which is, I think, what a lot of people assume.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, no, that's a
they're right.
common misconception.
Yeah, so get ready to explore what self-petitioning actually means.
Okay.
Why it's a game changer, maybe a life changer for some folks.
Right.
And the key things you need to know, whether, you're just kind of starting to think about your options or whether you're already, knee-deep in visa applications and all that.
Exactly.
So first things first,
Yeah.
What is a green card self-petition? Like, what makes it so different?
Essentially, a green card self-petition allows you to apply for permanent residency, that's your green card in the United States, without needing an employer to sponsor you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you're making the case that your work is so valuable,
Yeah.
so beneficial to the U.S.,
Right.
that you deserve to stay permanently.
Gotcha.
And this is really different from that traditional route where you need a job offer and that all-important sponsorship from a U.S. employer.
So it's like you're kind of taking control of the wheel,
Exactly.
steering your own destiny.
Yeah, you've got it.
And I imagine for a lot of people, that is just such a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it offers a level of autonomy and opens up possibilities that wouldn't be there otherwise.
The materials that you sent mentioned that people with advanced degrees, PhDs, masters, that kind of thing, often find this path appealing.
Yeah.
What's the connection there?
Yeah, we definitely see a lot of interest from people with those qualifications, especially those looking at the EB1A and EB2-NIW categories, which are two main avenues for self-petitioning.
Okay.
It makes sense when you think about it. These individuals often dedicate years to research and innovation,
Right.
and their contributions can have a significant impact.
Yeah.
But, and this is crucial, self-petitioning isn't exclusively for those with a PhD or a master's degree.
Okay.
Anyone who meets the USCIS requirements can apply.
So it's about the impact of your work, not
Yeah.
just the letters after your name.
Exactly.
That's an important distinction, I think.
Definitely.
And you mentioned this isn't just for folks in labs or universities, right?
Exactly. We see entrepreneurs, artists, really anyone whose work could be considered significantly beneficial to the U.S. Think of it as a way for the U.S. to attract and retain top global talent
Right.
across a range of disciplines.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So no need to be bound to a specific employer.
Right.
That's a game changer in itself.
Yeah.
But what are some other advantages of choosing to self-petition?
Well, as we said, you're not waiting for that permanent job offer to materialize,
Right.
which removes a huge weight from many people.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's remarkable flexibility
Okay.
because you're not tied to one specific employer. You have the freedom to change jobs within your field without jeopardizing your application,
Wow.
which is huge, especially in, really competitive fields where you need that freedom to move around.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that offers a sense of freedom and security that's got to be so valuable.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're trying to, set down roots and all that.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
And another significant advantage is that you can bypass the often lengthy and complicated PRM labor certification process.
And remind me what that is again.
Right, so PRM stands for Program Electronic Review Management, and it's the system used by the Department of Labor to certify that there aren't qualified U.S. workers available to fill a particular job.
Okay, so it's like this extra layer.
Right. It can be quite a bureaucratic hurdle.
Wow.
For employers especially. So being able to sidestep that entire process is a huge win.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So it streamlines things.
Yeah.
Allows you to really focus on the work and your contributions.
Exactly.
What else should we add to this list of advantages?
Two more key points.
Okay.
First, you have the flexibility to apply from either within the U.S. or outside the U.S.,
Oh, interesting.
which opens up options depending on your individual circumstances.
Okay.
And second, and this is particularly significant for those with families, you can include your dependents in your application.
Okay.
So that means your spouse and children are also on the path to permanent residency
It's huge.
alongside you.
Especially for families that are trying to navigate this whole process.
Right, exactly.
That's got to be such a relief.
Absolutely.
So we're talking flexibility, potentially faster processing,
Yeah.
the ability to keep your family together. These are some pretty compelling advantages.
For sure.
It really does seem like self-petitioning puts individuals in the driver's seat,
It does. It really does.
which I imagine is, again, just a huge relief for people.
It is, yeah.
Now, our source material really delves into two specific categories, EB1A and EB2-NIW.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Of course. These are the two main categories under which you can self-petition.
Okay.
EB1A is designed for those with extraordinary ability.
Okay.
And we're talking about individuals who are truly at the pinnacle of their fields.
Wow.
Yeah, those who have achieved sustained national or international acclaim.
So it's pretty high bar?
It is a high bar, yeah.
Okay.
Think, Nobel Prize winners, acclaimed artists, individuals with groundbreaking patents.
Right.
Those who really stand out.
Yeah, they got to have, the receipts to prove it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a high bar to clear, for sure.
Right.
However, one of the benefits of EB1A is that you don't need a job offer lined up at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So truly exceptional individuals who are already making waves.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's delve into the EB2-NIW category, which, as I understand it, is a slightly different path.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
EB2-NIW stands for National Interest Waiver,
Okay.
and it's designed for individuals whose work is considered to be in the national interest of the United States, even if they don't necessarily meet the very stringent, extraordinary ability criteria of EB1A.
So it's less about being like a rock star in your field
Right.
and more about how your work can benefit the U.S. in very concrete ways.
Yeah, you've got it.
Okay.
While demonstrating exceptional ability is still important, the focus here is on showcasing the potential impact of your work on the U.S. in areas like economics, education, health, or technology.
Given that EB1A and EB2-NIW have such different focuses,
Yeah.
I imagine the evidence required for each would look pretty different too.
Absolutely. For EB1A, you really need to bring your A game.
Okay.
You need to present a compelling narrative of your achievements.
Right.
Publications in top-tier journals, awards, recognition from leading figures in your field, media coverage, anything that convincingly demonstrates your extraordinary ability.
So you're building a highlight reel of your career.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're really showcasing that wow factor.
Yeah.
What about EB2-NIW? What kind of evidence do people need to show there?
So for NIW, the focus shifts from past achievements to future impact. You need to demonstrate how your work will benefit the U.S.
Okay, future looking.
Exactly.
Got it.
This might include things like patents you hold, citations of your work by other researchers, evidence that your research has been implemented in practical ways to solve real-world problems,
Okay.
or even letters of support from organizations that would benefit from your work.
So you're connecting the dots between your expertise
Yes.
and what it can do for the U.S.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
It seems like storytelling is really important for both,
It is, yeah.
but the focus is different.
It is, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say someone is listening to this and they're like, this is me. This is my path.
Right.
What does the application process actually look like?
So it's a two-stage process. The first stage involves filing Form I-140, which is the petition for alien worker.
Okay.
This is where you lay out your case. You're providing all that carefully curated evidence we were just discussing,
Right.
essentially convincing USCIS that you meet the requirements for a green card.
Building that solid foundation.
Exactly.
And what happens once that first hurdle is cleared? What does that second stage look like?
So the second stage depends on whether you're currently in the U.S. or not.
Okay.
If you're already here and you meet certain criteria, you can file Form I-485 to adjust your status to permanent resident,
Okay.
which means you can stay in the U.S. while your application is processed.
Got it.
And you wouldn't need to go through consular processing abroad.
Makes sense.
If you're outside the U.S., you'd go through that consular processing route, which involves working with the U.S. Embassy or consulate in your home country.
So the path forward after that initial petition really depends on your location.
It does, yeah.
And I'm sure individual circumstances.
Exactly.
It sounds like there are a lot of moving parts.
There are, yeah.
Which is probably why so many people find the whole visa process
Oh, absolutely.
kind of daunting.
It could be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And understandably so.
Right, for sure.
And I imagine a lot of people have questions.
Tons of questions.
What are some of the big ones that you encounter?
I'd say eligibility is a big one.
Okay.
People want to know, Do I actually have a shot at this?
Right,
Which
right.
is a valid question.
Of course.
The criteria, as we've touched upon, are quite specific,
Right.
and there's an element of subjective evaluation involved.
So how can someone figure out if they're a good candidate?
It really comes down to the strength of your overall profile
Okay.
and how effectively you convey the impact and significance of your work.
Right, so it's more than just checking boxes.
It is.
It's about telling your story.
Exactly. And having a strategic approach to gathering and presenting your evidence is key.
And speaking of evidence, what are we talking about here?
So letters of recommendation are essential,
Okay.
but they need to be more than just generic endorsements.
Right.
You want strong, detailed testimonials from recognized experts in your field who can really speak to the significance and impact of your work.
Okay, so they need to be,
They need to be
specific and detailed.
checked.
Not just like, oh, this person's great.
Right, exactly.
Beyond that, the specific evidence you'll need depends on whether you're pursuing EB1A or EB2-NIW.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit.
Okay.
What would someone going for EB1A need to be prepared to show?
For EB1A, remember, it's all about highlighting your extraordinary ability.
Right, right.
Think publications in top-tier journals, prestigious awards and honors, research grants, media coverage, anything that really underscores that national or international recognition.
So you're putting your most impressive accomplishments front and center.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about for NIW?
For NIW, it's less about showcasing those past accolades and more about building a case for how your continued presence in the U.S. would significantly benefit the nation.
Okay, so for NIW, what kind of evidence would help someone make that case persuasively?
That's where things get really interesting.
Strong evidence for NIW might include patents you hold, particularly if those patents have commercial applications, or are related to critical technologies.
Okay.
Citations of your work by other researchers,
Okay.
demonstrating that your findings are influential and contributing to the advancement of your field.
Got it.
Evidence that your research has been implemented in practical ways, perhaps by companies or organizations, to develop new products or solve existing problems.
Oh, wow. So it's really about making a difference.
It is,
Yeah.
And of course, detailed letters of support from organizations or institutions that would directly benefit from your work.
Right. So they can vouch for you.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's really about, again, connecting those dots between your expertise and its real-world impact on the U.S.
It is, yeah.
Got it. Strategic storytelling is essential.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so now for the question I'm sure is on everyone's mind. Processing times.
Right.
How long does this whole process typically take?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay.
The processing time for these applications can vary quite a bit,
Right.
depending on a number of factors.
Like what?
The category you're applying under,
Okay.
whether it's EB1A or EB2-NIW,
Yeah.
the workload at USCIS, which can fluctuate,
Right.
even the specific service center where your application ends up can have an impact.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's really important to go into this process with a healthy dose of patience.
absolutely. Yeah, patience is key.
Yeah, because we could be talking weeks, months, years.
We could be talking anywhere from several months to a year, or even longer in some cases.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's crucial to have realistic expectations.
Right.
And if you're currently in the U.S. on a visa, to be mindful of your visa's expiration date.
Right. Right. All those logistics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be prepared for the long haul.
exactly.
You mentioned earlier that this process can get complicated.
It can.
And I imagine a lot of people wonder whether they should get legal help
Right.
or if they should just go it alone.
Right. And it's a very personal decision.
Right.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
Some people feel comfortable handling the paperwork and the deadlines themselves,
Yeah.
especially if they have a fairly straightforward case.
Okay.
But for many, especially those who might not be as familiar with immigration law or who just feel overwhelmed by the process,
Right.
having an experienced immigration attorney in their corner can be invaluable.
It's like having a guide.
It is. Exactly.
In a confusing world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
An attorney who specializes in these types of petitions can make all the difference.
Okay.
They understand the intricacies of immigration law. They know what USCIS is looking for.
Right.
And they can help you build the strongest possible case with the most compelling evidence.
So it's about having someone on your side who really knows the ropes.
Precisely. Yeah.
And I imagine for a lot of people, that peace of mind is priceless.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about what happens if someone's initial petition is denied.
Okay.
Is that a dead end?
It's definitely not the end of the road.
Okay.
A denial can be disheartening, for sure.
Oh.
But it's important to remember that it's not uncommon.
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily mean your journey ends there.
So there might be other options.
There might be,
Yeah.
depending on the specific reasons for the denial.
Okay.
You might be able to refile the petition, addressing the issues raised by USCIS.
Okay.
You could also consider appealing the decision.
Okay.
Essentially, asking a higher authority within USCIS to review your case.
Got it.
And in some instances, exploring other visa options that align with your qualifications and goals might be a viable path.
So even in the face of a setback, it's about regrouping,
It is, yeah.
reassessing, and exploring those alternative routes.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And that's another area where having an experienced immigration attorney by your side can be incredibly valuable.
Okay.
They can analyze the reasons for the denial, provide guidance on the best course of action, and help you navigate the appeals process if that's the right approach.
So they're really there to be your advocate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes even small oversights in the initial application can lead to denials.
Right.
And an attorney can help you avoid those pitfalls if you decide to refile.
It's all about having that expert in your corner.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, especially when the stakes are so high.
Exactly. Because when it comes to something as important as your immigration journey, you want to make sure you're exploring every possible avenue.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive
it has.
into the world of green card self-petitioning.
It has, yeah.
And I have to say, it's really inspiring to see how many talented people from all different backgrounds are using this path
It is, yeah.
to, contribute their skills and passions to the U.S.
It's really amazing to see.
It is really amazing.
Yeah,
And if you're listening to this and something has sparked your curiosity,
please.
don't just take our word for it. Dive into those source materials that we always provide.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're a fantastic starting point for further exploration.
They are, yeah. There's a wealth of information out there.
Right. And if any questions pop up, you know where to find us.
Absolutely. Don't hesitate to reach out.
We are always happy to help guide you in the right direction.
Always.
Until next time, keep those curiosity engines running.
Right. It's about having someone there to kind of walk you through the process.
Exactly. Someone in your corner.
Yeah, someone who's been there, done that.
Okay, so let's talk about what happens if, for whatever reason, that initial petition is denied. Okay.
Is that it? Is that the end of the road?
It's definitely not the end of the road.
Okay.
It can be really disheartening, of course, if you get that denial.
Of course, yeah.
But it's not uncommon.
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that's it, that you have no other options.
So you're saying there might be some wiggle room?
There might be, yeah. Depending on the specific reasons for the denial,
Okay.
you might be able to refile the petition, addressing the issues that USCIS raised.
Okay.
You could also consider appealing the decision.
Okay.
So basically asking a higher authority within USCIS to take another look at your case.
Got it. So a second set of eyes.
Exactly.
Okay.
And in some cases, it might be worth exploring other visa options that might be better fit.
Right. So if at first you don't succeed,
Right, exactly.
try again.
There are other ways, yes. Okay, and again, I imagine that's where having legal counsel could be super helpful.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because they can kind of look at the reasons for the denial
Exactly.
and maybe help you come up with a better strategy.
Exactly. They could help you strategize, figure out the best course of action for your specific situation,
Okay.
and help you navigate that appeals process if that's the route you choose to take.
So they're really your advocate, like we were saying.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And sometimes, even small oversights in that initial application can lead to denials.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And an attorney can help you avoid those if you do decide to refile.
So it's all about like crossing your T's and dotting your I's.
Yes, exactly.
Having someone there who knows what to look for.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been incredibly insightful.
It has.
I feel like we've really done a deep dive on green card self-petitioning.
We have. Yeah. We've covered a lot of ground.
And it's really inspiring to see how many talented people
It is.
from all different backgrounds are,
Absolute.
taking advantage of this path.
It's really amazing to see the diversity of talent that's out there.
Right. And the contributions that people are making.
Exactly.
It's really something.
It is. It's really inspiring.
So if you're listening to this
Yeah.
and you're curious,
Please.
don't just take our word for it.
No.
Go and explore those source materials
Absolutely.
that we always provide.
They're packed with information.
And if any questions come up,
Don't hesitate to reach out.
you know how to find us.
We're here to help.
Exactly. And with that, I think we should probably wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
We'll be back soon with the third and final part of this episode, so don't go anywhere. And we are back with part 3
Back again.
of our deep dive.
Here we go.
So before we went to that last break, we were talking about, what happens if your petition is denied.
Yeah.
Which is obviously,
Yeah, it can be a setback.
a really stressful thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you've put so much work into it.
Absolutely. You've invested so much time and energy.
Exactly. So it's not just a form, it's your life.
Exactly. It's a big deal.
So you're saying it's not necessarily the end of the road?
No, not at all.
There are other options.
There are. Yeah, for sure.
Like what? Give me some hope here.
Okay, so first of all, depending on the reason for the denial, you might be able to refile the petition and address whatever issues USCIS flagged.
So it's like a second chance.
Exactly,
Yeah.
to refine your application.
Okay, what else?
You can also think about appealing the decision.
Okay, so that's different from refiling.
It is, yeah.
What does that mean?
So basically with an appeal, you're asking a higher authority within USCIS to review your case.
So it's like a second set of eyes.
Exactly.
Okay, and is that always an option?
It depends on the specific circumstances,
Okay.
but it's definitely something to consider.
Okay, so refiling, appealing.
Right.
What else is there?
And then in some situations, it might make sense to explore other visa options.
Okay, so maybe a different path.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe there's a different category that's a better fit.
Right. So it's about finding the right path for you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I imagine this is another area where having an attorney would be really helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they can look at everything.
Yeah, they can look at the reasons for the denial. They can help you figure out what your options are.
Okay.
And then guide you through whichever path you decide to take.
Okay, so they're like your Sherpa guide through this whole thing.
Exactly. They've been there. They've done that.
They know the terrain.
They know the terrain. Exactly.
This has been, I have to say, incredibly eye-opening.
It has been, yeah.
I think we've learned a lot
They do.
about green cards, self-petitions.
Lots of information.
All of that.
It's a complex topic.
It is.
But hopefully we've shed some light on it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And if anyone listening has more questions, if this has sparked something,
Please reach out.
they can find all that information on the website.
Absolutely. All the source materials are there.
And with that, I think we've reached the end
The end of our deep dive.
of our deep dive.
Sad to see it go,
I know, me too.
but all good things must come to an end.
They do. Until next time,
Until next time, yeah.
keep those curiosity engines running.
Keep 'em going.
Thank you for listening to a podcast by greencardselfpetition.com. Visit greencardselfpetition.com for do-it-yourself packets. We aim to provide the collective experience of numerous applicants who have successfully self-petitioned for their green cards without employer sponsorship, in either the EB1A, Extraordinary Ability, or EB2-NIW National Interest Waiver categories. Our DIY packets are designed to assist you in your self-petition journey.